Fashion is an ever-changing phenomena, and players keep coming up with exciting and new styles for dynamic customer base. For Wilkings Odinga, venturing into fashion was a decision he does not regret.
My name is Wilkins. I'm the CEO of Fashion Touch Africa. And I came up with the idea of Fashion Touch Africa because I wanted to create a platform for fashion entrepreneurs, and with a solution of making sure that we are growing Africa fashion brands into successful businesses.
Wilkins narrates his journey with a sense of achievement in his voice.
When I was in school, and so Ajuma came at Daystar, and she was doing a couple of auditions for another show that was Samantha's Bridal. So I think I was just like walking, just seeing what they're doing. Then she called me. She was like, I think you can be a model. So that's where my journey started in getting into the fashion industry.
He has several ventures incorporated in his company Fashion Touch Africa and highlights patience as his pillar to success.
I started Fashion Touch Africa to make sure that I'm growing fashion brands into successful businesses. That is through different kind of projects that we do in Fashion Touch Africa. That is in show production, model management, fashion PR and marketing, and our business incubation hub for fashion startups. We are the ones who train our models together with our makeup artists. And our models, we did our audition last year. So that was our first auditions, of which we took a couple of models. And the niche thing about us on how we train our models is that we don't just limit our models to runways only.
He draws his inspiration from a lady who he looks up to in the industry.
I look up to Evelyn Adongo because we share quite a lot of things in common, and she doesn't look at fashion just as a luxury, but she looks at fashion in a very wider perspective, in that she looks at it in an entrepreneurial perspective. Because when you tell someone that, okay, I'm in the fashion industry, or maybe I'm a designer, or I have a company in the fashion industry, they tend to think that being in the fashion industry is all about just being a designer, or being in the fashion industry is just all about being a model, looking good and all that.
Hard work has enabled him grace international fora and achieve remarkable milestones in his venture.
Some of the major achievements I got last year is our first international event. That was Slam Fashion Africa. So that's as a young company and producing that kind of an event, whereby we had designers from Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi and Botswana. So that's one event that has really earned us respect. And another achievement I got is the Top 40 Under 40, which I won last year, which was being sponsored by Business Daily. And it was a really a proud moment for me, because from all the corporates, from all the 39 people who won the award, I was the only entrepreneur from the fashion industry. So it was really an impacting moment in my life. Then after that, so it has been a moment of a sequence of blessing and blessing after the other. So after that is where I got another email from the Amsterdam Business Summit, which I'll be one of the speakers at the summit. So so these are some of the things that have really shaped my life, and that has really given me that passion to move forward, and that passion to make sure that I change lives and I inspire people and I change the fashion industry. And another one that was last year that really also changed how I've run the company and how I've really viewed blessings and how I've really viewed what God can do in a young entrepreneur is taking part at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Just shaking the hand of President Obama. That's something that really impacted something in my life. Yep.
For any venture, there has to be challenges.
Some of the challenges I faced is people believing in me, people believing in the vision. Because you see, if you look at the visions of Fashion Touch Africa, one, we want to make sure that we're growing fashion brands into successful businesses. Then another vision that is kind of very enormous is we're trying to make sure that fashion becomes one of the things that contribute to our country's economy. So you see, that's a kind of a big vision. Then another vision is we're using fashion to touch people's lives. So you see, if one of the challenges I face is going to people, going to investors and telling people, okay, this is Fashion Touch Africa, this is what I do. But they get think, I think you can't do it, because perhaps they get to that kind of mentality that maybe he's young, maybe he's new in the fashion industry. So that's one of the challenge I faced, people believing in the vision. But we've been in the industry for 2 years, and the people are now started embracing the vision, and now people started, acknowledging what we do. Yep. When I started Fashion Touch Africa, I started with 500 shillings. So that was my lowest moment. But what pushed me into, or what pushed us into where we are right now, is the vision, the power of the vision. And so funding was one of my lowest moment when I started Fashion Touch Africa. But eventually, people get to, if you're starting fashion, if you're starting something and you're an entrepreneur, you have to stick to your vision. And once you stick to your vision, it's so easy to win people's heart and to win people's confidence.